My mission is simple, to make you money. I'm here to level the playing field for all investors. There's always a bull market somewhere, and I promise to help you find it. Mad Money starts now. Hey, I'm Cramer. Welcome to Mad Money. Welcome to Cramerica. Other people want to make friends? I'm just trying to save you some money. My job is not just to entertain, but to educate and teach and put this in context. So call me at 1-800-743-CNBC or tweet me at Jim Cramer. A vaccine. My kingdom for a vaccine. Yep, if you want to understand this market, including today, the Dow tumbled 354 points. Sell. S&P lost 1.23%, and the Nasdaq plunged a hideous 2.29%. With many big-cap tech stocks taking on the chin, you have to recognize that things will never be the same in this country or around the world until we get a vaccine. The pandemic, not the Fed. They know nothing! Not the election is the most important driver of the stock prices. That's right, most important of stock prices. Lately, it's feeling very binary. We get a vaccine sooner than expected, we save the economy. But if the process drags on and we don't have any stimulus, we're going to need to adjust to the new slow to no growth, huddle at home normal. Therefore, our fate is in the hands of a few dozen companies with a dizzying array of clinical trials. And whoever gets there first is going to make a lot of money for shareholders. And that's why we at CNBC decided to do something new that no one else has attempted. We surveyed 92 drug analysts and public health officials, the best we could find, state and local level, to handicap the chances of each of the main players. Now, we don't bet on, we don't at least like to bet on life-threatening situations. I mean, this is a terrible disease. But, and this is an important but, we are asked over and over again, who is really in the lead? These are lives, not horses. But this does per se resemble handicapping because we are judging not just vaccines, but stocks too. That's our business. So coming in first with the support of 21 respondents, it's the Oxford University AstraZeneca vaccine, the one we just read about in that British publication Lancet on Monday. We know it got an excellent safety profile and several qualities that could lead to immunity. Second was tied with Moderna and the Pfizer BioNTech vaccine. They both got 19 votes. Third is CanSino Biologics. That's a Chinese vaccine company, 8 votes. After that, Johnson & Johnson, Novavax, and the joint team of Sanofi and GlaxoSmithKline each got 7 votes. Merck and Sinovac got 6. Sinopharm and CureVac were next with 5. Inovio and Medicago each got 4. Now, Inovio also earned an important distinction, and it's a dubious one. It's the honor of being the company least likely to bring its vaccine candidate to market, at least according to the 92 experts we consulted. They voted Inovio off the island. What about COVID treatments? Not vaccine, but treatments. Well, that's another closely contested race. Gilead's in first with 17 votes. Remember, they own Remdesivir, which has been very effective in cutting short hospital stays, followed by Regeneron with tremendous Ebola experience in second. Eli Lilly and privately held Abcellera in third. Roche in fourth, bringing up the rear. There's Vir Biotech and GlaxoSmithKline. Now, the more I dig into the medical research, the more I realize that a vaccine is essential. If COVID's really as virulent as the experts say, you better pray one of these injections works, because that's the only way we beat it for good. And this Grim Reaper flu is going to make a vicious comeback in the fall, something you don't want to think about on a day when our nation had one of its biggest number of COVID-19 hospitalizations today. Yes, that's right. Many of the doctors I deal with are very concerned about the fall. I also realize something else. The race for a vaccine might have more than one winner. We may need to take several shots at this thing. It could even be like the flu, where there's a new vaccine every year or a series of flu shots to meet it. With that in mind, how do we take advantage of this poll? Again, the only one that I've seen, okay? Maybe that's in bad taste, but my job is to help try to satisfy your needs to make money. It's what you want. So how do we figure out what's going to happen in this race for the vaccine? Okay, what I find most interesting about our survey is that the stage of testing doesn't seem to matter much at all. For example, Novavax, right? It just got a $1.6 billion commitment from the government to complete their test and scale-up manufacturing. They start phase 3 trials in the fourth quarter. Yet Novavax is tied with J&J, which hasn't even started human trials, and they're about to, and do have massive scale to build out billion vaccines, as well as Sanofi-Glaxo. That's a shotgun marriage, which goes into human trials in September. I think the excitement about the AstraZeneca-Oxford vaccine makes a ton of sense. I know many people who went into that trial because it's 30,000 people because the initial results were so promising in a smaller group, even though the stock has been crushed since the data came out on Monday. Why did people sell the news? Well, I think the expectations got out of control. Buyers seem to have wanted some sort of miracle. Instead, they got something very positive, but still within the bounds of reason. The thing about vaccines, as opposed to actual cures, is that the FDA will never just stop the trials and preemptively declare a winner, which sometimes happens with regular drugs. Testing a vaccine takes time because the only way to be sure it works is you give it to thousands of people and then you wait to see if they get sick. I mean, there's no real way to accelerate that process. But even though we can't really speed this thing up, I like AstraZeneca's stock here, down nearly 10 points from its high with a 3.4% yield, and more importantly, an excellent anti-cancer franchise that's worth a great deal. Next one's tough. I used to be a huge fan of Moderna, you know that, because they have an exciting AI-powered approach to drug development. But then the company revealed some positive data on its COVID vaccine right at the time as executives dumped the stock, and it left a bad taste in my mouth. I understand that those execs had sell plans in place. You can do that with the SEC. But as someone who's both created and used sell plans myself, I can tell you they should have been canceled going into what was obviously going to be a period of heightened scrutiny. Yes, I think Moderna has become too promotional, too quick to praise its own work off a very small sample size, which is odd because they've never actually produced a vaccine before. Now, I did love this stock in the 20s and 30s and in the 40s and even in the 50s, but up here at 75, oh, and the survey was taken before the company lost an important patent contest to a rival company just now. The authoritative Stat publication said this afternoon that the patent decision could delay the company's progress on the vaccine or cut into the company's profits if it succeeds. I now say no, thank you. By contrast, Pfizer's partnered with this German BioNTech, and they've done, by the way, that trades here, and they've been remarkably non-promotional about the relative success. BioNTech stock is too binary for me. They don't have enough other shots on goal. But Pfizer has a portfolio of decent, albeit boring drugs. And while there's nothing huge in the pipeline, the company's got very deep pockets. So if their vaccine doesn't win, they can always make some very exciting acquisitions. Like Moderna, Pfizer's reached phase 3, the home stretch. And it just got $1.95 billion from the U.S. government to produce a vaccine. Feds will own the first 100 million doses. Seems fair. I can't say much about CanSino Biologics. It's Chinese. The only Chinese stock I'm willing to recommend is Alibaba because the PRC stock market doesn't have enough regulations enforcing transparency. But let's talk about the 3 vaccines that are tied with 7 votes. J&J, Novavax, and the Sanofi-Glaxo team up. And we've had all of these teams on. I think the Sanofi-Glaxo candidate has great possibilities because both companies have excellent vaccine divisions, though they are late to the party. Novavax is ultra-high risk, ultra-high reward. It's a total long shot that's trading like it already won. Why? Because it got a $1.6 billion commitment from the president's Operation Warp Speed initiative. Well, it's disconcerting that people think that they are in the pole position, which leads me to my favorite, Johnson & Johnson. I'm hearing nothing but good things about their trial, even as it's only now gotten to phase 1. More importantly, aside from COVID, J&J is the best pipeline of these drug companies. Their vaccine could fail, and the stock may not even go down. That's how cheap this thing is. I think it's a buy right here. My Chapel Trust has a big position in it. There's not much to say about the others. I like Regeneron for its COVID treatment, but I like it even more for its non-COVID drugs, including a surprisingly strong oncology portfolio that no one's talking about. As for Novio, the handicappers have spoken, and they say sell. The bottom line, we will revisit this race as we get closer to the finish line. But the bottom line, if you want to make an informed wager or at least invest on the vaccine stocks, I think AstraZeneca has the most promising formulation. However, J&J is the best stock because it's inexpensive and it's got so much else going if it turns out to be a loser in the COVID-19 vaccine race for a cure, or at least immunity.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @Jim Cramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.